Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Here, let me get my camera readjusted here. Perfect. Thanks for joining me tonight. So again, I'm Sarah Etter. I am your 7-figure raising capital coach and professional real estate investor here in Ontario, Canada. So tonight we are going to talk about basement duplex conversions and the legal kind. It's not the stuff that you see on HGTV where people just fix up their basements and hope for the best. We call that house hacking, and it's actually a really, really fantastic model. If you have a house, you want someone to help you pay down the mortgage, it's an amazing way to start into this whole journey of real estate investing, especially if you're a millennial or you just need some extra cash. But today we are talking about secondary unit suites specifically as an investment strategy to increase cash flow, appreciation, and equity. I'm going to talk a little bit about my projects on the go, why I'm using basement conversions to rapidly accelerate my portfolio and best serve my investors. I have a wide variety of private partners and different investors who have very specific needs. I have hard money lenders, I have mortgage lenders, I have people who don't have a lot of capital, I have people who want interest only, cash flow because they're retired, and it has been a journey this past year to try to loop all of these pieces together. I want to service my investors in the best way possible while also staying true to my long-term investment strategies. So I have been able to do that by doing these basement conversions. So the way that we are doing these is, first of all, we're finding the right property. So I want to talk a little bit about the criteria. Now, every city is slightly different. You're going to find different regulations, different bylaws, different requirements for the space of the unit, the lot size, the parking. But there are very standard things that you should look for in a basement unit. So number one is obviously a separate entrance. This is not just a side door. This is not just a separate like little staircase going down. We are talking an actual separate entrance, whether it's through the back of the house, the side of the house. There has to be a section where you can wall it off and create it completely separate from the top unit. This is very, very important. So if you're unsure about any of these specifications, make sure to get a really, really good contractor or someone else experienced to walk through with you if you're unsure about these different requirements. So it has to be a completely separate side entrance that you could hypothetically wall off and create an entirely separate unit. From there, what you're going to do is you're also going to look for the parking. This is the biggest pain. I have come across so many phenomenal projects and properties that do not fit the parking criteria. Now, you can apply for minor variances if you're not off by a lot. I know people that have won them by going to city council, but they are not pretty and they are not easy. So this is the thing, like you have to have, I'm pretty sure it's like 1.25 meters per parking spot. It needs to be a true double wide drive. They will not give you a permit for a legal duplex if the cars have to park behind one another. And it makes sense. You don't want your tenants, if they don't know each other, to be arguing over parking spaces and things like that. Occasionally they will give you some sort of minor variance, but it could take 6 to 8 weeks to apply for that permit and you might not get it. So it's a huge, huge gamble. Now, I'm not saying if you're like a little bit off that you shouldn't look into it. But what I'm saying is if you are in like tight lines and it is laneway parking and there's no other options for your parking spaces, you might want to look at a different property because it might not be worth your time unless it is a steal of a duplex. The headaches don't even make sense. More properties will come on the market. I promise you. So that's another thing you want to consider. So you want to consider the side entrance. You want to consider the parking situation. And then also you have to look into the other specifications. Now this is more not like the property itself, but things that you should consider when duplexing. There has to be a certain square footage. Sometimes it's as low as like 600 square feet for a unit, but obviously there has to be an egress window. Fire alarms have to be wired through the upstairs. There has to be fire rated drywall and insulation in between the ceiling and the walls. It is an absolute necessity, and you will find a laundry list of things that you need to get done for your unit to make it an official duplex. If you're not sure about this yet, do not go out and buy your first duplex conversion. If you go on any city website, we focus in Brantford and Hamilton, go on the city of Hamilton, go on the city of Brantford, search for the bylaws. They're actually incredibly detailed, very specific about what exactly you are required, whether it's like door entry, ceiling heights, bulkheads, all of this stuff. We found out something really cool the other day, which is that if your duplex in the basement has a utility room, technically you don't have to put fire rating in that room, which is super cool because it was going to be a nightmare for a duplex that we saw yesterday, but we're not going to have to do that if we take on this project. So again, it's just stuff that you need to look into, and please don't be afraid to contact the city planning department. Most of them are so helpful and so friendly. Even go into the city, book a meeting, sit down with one of the officials. They're usually so incredibly helpful. They'll go through everything with you. They'll look at specific zonings if you're looking at a particular property. So I highly suggest that you do a significant amount of due diligence and research before you take on these projects, because they are not for the faint of heart, and you don't want to screw them up because you're going to be in a lot of money. But the cool part is this. Let's talk numbers. Like, why do we even want to do duplex conversions if they're risky, if it's a lot of work, if we're putting a lot of capital into them? It's because of the amazing upside. We are just at a point, for those of you that are watching that are not from the Toronto area, in Ontario, the GTA house prices have gotten so insane that it is almost impossible to find a single family home that cash flows anymore. And I'm not even just talking like cash flows well, I'm talking cash flows period. Everyone is in a frenzy to find the type of investment that they can get that cash flows consistently. We all have the same goals. We want to buy enough properties and, eventually have enough cash flow coming in, enough equity, enough appreciation that we can all retire from our investments. But if our properties aren't cash flowing, what are we supposed to do? So we've had to get really creative over the past couple of years. It's why you've seen the upsurgence in things like rent to owns, in these duplex conversions, in just really unique ways of trying to force appreciation and force cash flow into our investments if you are investing in the GTA. So this is the cool part about basement conversions, and then I'll tell you how I'm structuring them so that I'm able to purchase them without any money down. So basically, if you think about it like this, I'm going to use Brantford as an example because it's a market I know very, very well. So you invest in Brantford. Now, the average decent rental is going to run you anywhere from $280 to the low $300s. By the time you do the closing costs, your 20% down payment, you clean it up a little bit, et cetera, you're in probably $70,000, $80,000. And at best, after renovations, you're getting $1,800 a month in terms of rent. And I mean, that is the high end. I've seen brand new 4-bedroom new builds go for barely $2,000 a month because it's Brantford. So if that's the case, do the math. You are barely cash flowing, even at a variable rate, 30-year AM, 3% annual interest on a conventional A-lender mortgage. You're cash flowing maybe $100 a month. And that's okay. It's cash flowing. I would still tell you, go for it. If you're just getting into rentals, you want to have a decent property, Brantford's a pretty good market. And it's probably one of the only markets that you can still, maybe besides London or Chatham, that you can still make single family houses cash flow. But it's tight, and nobody wants that. You want to be in a good amount of buffer that you can park some away for a slush fund, and that you're more than okay when it comes to your monthly expenses. Now consider the scenario of a duplex. Now you're going to buy this house for maybe the low 300s. if it's in like a really nice neighborhood. And we like nice neighborhoods because there's better tenants, better cash flow, that sort of thing. So say we're buying a house for $300,000. What we're gonna do is we're gonna duplex it, you know, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 maximum to finish up the upstairs part, rent it out, get the permits, do everything we need to do for a legal basement suite. Then what we're going to do is we're going to refinance the property. We're going to pull out all of our renovation budget, and then we're going to go buy a new one. And our cash flow at that point is going to be close to $500 to $600 a month, which is just out of this world. So you think about it, if you had 10 duplex conversions that you just did this and recycled and recycled and recycled your money, you could hypothetically in a couple of years quit your job if you're comfortable living off of, you know, $5,000 a month. It's amazing. And if you want to keep accelerating and getting joint venture partners and doing kind of what I'm doing, you could make a significant amount of money and literally just retire and be real estate investing full time. So this is how we do my deals. Again, if you were here from the beginning, I am in a unique situation because I have a bunch of different lenders and investors that have very specific needs. I have hard money, I have private mortgages, and I have mortgage holders. And then I have a fourth category of mortgage holders who don't have a lot of capital. So what I've been able to do is link all of my investors together and make a really cool scenario that's like a win-win for everyone. What I do is I have my investors put 20% down and get a conventional A-lender mortgage. I then go to my private lenders, get the money for the renovations, do the reno, get the permits, get everything done, and then we refinance with that original mortgage holder, cash out my private money for the refinance, and they technically now own a duplex for the price of a single family home, now with an incredible amount of equity built in and $500 to $600 a month in cash flow. When would they have purchased that original house at, $300,000, they'd be maybe cash flowing $100. Now, yes, they do have to refinance at a higher amount, but we've built in enough forced appreciation with that second suite that they don't have to put a cent more. They are just responsible for going to the bank and refinancing for that higher amount, but they're not putting in the renovation budget. They're not having to worry about another dime towards the 20%. They leave their original 20% in the property, and then everyone walks away happy. It is an actual amazing win-win. When I broke down the numbers late last year of how these duplexes are working for people in the Hamilton Mountain, in Brantford, it actually blew my mind how awesome it was. And when I started thinking about the needs of my investors in particular, I thought, this is so great. I have all of these mortgage holders who have great T4s, but just not a ton of capital. They're younger, they're new ambitious investors. But I also have a ton of hard money and private capital. So I'm able to create an amazing win-win. My private lenders get the interest they need. My capital and mortgage holders get incredible cash flow without having to worry about coming up with that extra renovation budget. And it's really just a super, super cool model. And again, because we're cashing out that private capital, we can just keep going again and again and again with a bunch of different investors on a variety of different properties. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it informative. This is a little bit of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to legal basement duplex conversions. Now, notice I say legal because we intend in 5 years on either refinancing again if it makes sense for cash flow or selling them. We want to make sure that we're forcing as much appreciation as possible. We're putting a lot of money into doing the fire rating, into doing the permits, into doing all of this stuff. We want to make sure that these are legal suites for the best bang for our buck. So we're putting a lot of energy into it. But aside from that, we get to scale our portfolio so quick. We're only limited by the amount of mortgage holders, the amount of capital we have, and how fast we can find these deals and do the due diligence on them. Now, again, I'm just diving into this. It's kind of a new experience for me, but I have an incredible power team with me. I have my money. I have some great contractors, my realtors, all ready to go. We're looking at putting in a few offers already this month, so stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a ton of YouTube videos, a ton of private or like live Facebook videos for you guys, walking you through specific numbers when I buy my first one, how it's going, and definitely things to know. I'm sure we're gonna run into some hiccups, and that's cool. I would rather you guys learn from my mistakes. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. It's going to be an amazing ride in 2019. So excited to be doing these videos again with you. If you have any questions, comments, or other topics that you'd like me to discuss or talk about, let me know. And if you're interested in raising capital, private money, learning more about what I do, make sure to check the links below. I copied my free Raising Capital guide, which is an amazing 26-page ebook, as well as some free coaching calls for you guys. If you want to just chat about your portfolio, how you can raise a bit more capital in 2019 for your real estate investing goals, I've put all those links below. And make sure to click and follow for my Facebook Live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. All right, guys, it's been great chatting with you. Talk to you next week. Thanks. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into my channel. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you're looking for even more amazing content on real estate investing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be releasing amazing videos every single week, so you won't want to miss it. If you want to learn more about working with me and what I do, make sure to check out my website as well. Bye guys.